So in our previous video, we just discussed about what are the mistakes that you must avoid as a beginner. So as a beginner, you must know certain slangs, or I would say terminologies, which is not technical, but it is just widely used by the community. So I don't want you to check a post or read about it anywhere and think this is something that I do not know of. For example, you would have usually heard about the terms liquidity, leverage. So that are all technical terms which are used in all the industry. But there are a few crypto slangs that are used only in the crypto industry, which a lot of holders do. So whoever has been trading and investing would know this kind of slang. So that is why these terms are something that you must know, not to the point that you mug it up, or not to the point where it's just very natural, and you should be just aware of it. I won't take much time in this. The first slang, which is HODL. So a lot of people confuse it for hold. A lot of people think, okay, it's hold, but it was written T. There was a spelling mistake. No, it's not. So this signifies two things. It may be for hold on dear life, or it is just hold, which is written HODL as a spelling mistakes intentionally. Okay, so this is done to hold your crypto. That's the only thing. So whenever it's dip, or whenever it's very low, like it has reached all time low, or market is in sideways, then the crypto community usually uses this term hold, so that you just hold it and do not sell it off. So this started in 2013 in Bitcoin form, and it has been popular ever since. So this is one of a great strategy to hold it for the long term. So that is why they use it. So you must know this, and you can use it too. So you can use these terms and slangs all over your posts. The second is something you probably would have heard about, maybe even in the stock market. So you would have heard people telling, don't get into FOMO. So it's fear of missing out. Let's say you're a day trader, and it breaks out. So maybe there is a strong resistance that it breaks out, and the entry should be when it breaks out, but it breaks out, forms another candle, and it's spiking up, and now you get into FOMO, the fear of missing out. You get into FOMO, and you'll just start buying the lots, and by the time it would have already reached certain spike, and it would just not work it out. You wouldn't get returns, or you'd end up in loss. So you don't have to get in fear of missing out. So if there is a high momentum and you're already in middle of it, so whenever there is a high momentum, and its price is spiking, or it may not be spiking up, it might be spiking down also. So you shouldn't get into FOMO, and try to make decisions. You must always precise your entry and exit points, and not get into the FOMO or fear of missing out. It may be for investment also, it may be for day trading also. FOMO is not something that is advisable, although we understand the adrenaline rush. The third is something you must definitely know. This is something that's very important. It's FUD. That is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So this, I would term it as the mass psychology. Okay, it's when there is a negative news, and everybody starts to panic sell, and it's not actually negative. There is no news that can be actually negative. Okay, it's just it will affect news is certainly a degree of a factor in this complete crypto, whatever the FOMC meeting, or any kind of presidential speak. So it will affect to a certain degree. But sometimes the news can be misleading. So sometimes people assume it wrong, and the mass people assume it wrong, and everybody gets into the mass, hysteria, where they just start selling it, or just selling it off. So the market crashes. That is when the fear, uncertainty, doubt, and everybody starts selling. So the market crashes. It will cause a panic selling in the market. However, it's very temporary. After FUD, when there is a complete, when the price is down, it starts the accumulation phase, and usually the price will reach the same levels in some days or in some hours. So it happens all the time, especially for the new cryptos, whatever the meme coins, the new cryptos, and it has happened to all the major coins as well. So you do not have to worry. Of course, headline is wrong here. Example, government to ban Bitcoin. It doesn't happen, but there are few countries which is not legalized or not given a certain permission. So that might happen, but not to the point it will just stay in the all time low. So it's usually just the FUD. All time high now. This is something you would have known about it, but you should understand ATH, which means all time high. So whenever it reaches all time high. So example, I just give an example of a very long, that was just my favorite number. So now the Bitcoin has already reached 108, 109. So that's about it. So it's all time high. When coin reaches all time high, it's all time high, and coin reaches all time low, it's all time low. So it's used in many specific terms, and by using these terms, we would understand like what is the next move and what can be the next move. So if you hear these terminologies, then you would know what to do with your next steps, like what to do with the next steps. Right? So all-time high, all-time low, ATH, ATL. And sixth is the whale. So you would have heard people telling, it's the whale, and I'm a whale watcher. So what does that mean? Here you must understand that. A whale is usually people or a group of people or an entity that holds a large amount of particular cryptocurrency. Let's come to Dogecoin. So whale is somebody who holds a lot of Dogecoin. So that is not capable by a particular person, and not capable by even a particular rich person. So it's a huge amount. It's maybe 1 crore in Indian rupees, or more than that. So even more than 25, 50 lakhs or 70 lakhs a term like that. It depends upon the coin that he's investing. So when a whale uh, holds a large piece, it's called as the whale. Like he'll be able to control the market price because the impact is very huge. That it's a huge amount and the impact is very huge. He'll be able to control the market. So that is why they're called as whale. Okay, and you would have heard whale watcher as well, an additional technology, additional terminology. So if you're observing the inside wallets, or if you're observing what does the whale do next, and you're just observing the coins and what all the transaction. Of course, it's blockchain, so it's all visible. So you're watching all the transaction, and if you spot a whale, it's just very good because you know what's going to be the next direction in the market depending upon the amount of coins the whale buys, and it's very easy to spot a whale. So whale watching is also a term, and whale is somebody a huge impactful person, okay, or a group of person. Samant is not something that's common, not something everybody would know. So it's wrecked. So it was just started when people start telling it for wrecked. If they lose certain amount in the market, of course it's wrecked, right? So they use it as a wrecked. So when somebody buys at peak, the example is when somebody buys at peak, buys at all time high. Of course, they're going to be wrecked when the market crashes. But if somebody buys when the precise entry point is, then not so much. It maybe drops 10%, but not below that. But if you buy in FOMO, if you buy all time high, then definitely when the market crashes, you're wrecked. So dip is something where you must be buying. There is a line that there is no millionaire who got rich by selling by buying at all time high. So whenever there is a dip, it's an advantage. It's called as dynamic buying when you keep buying at every dip. Whenever the market crashes, you'll be buying certain amount. It's a dynamic buying. So that when the market is really bullish and doing really well, you'll be in a lot of profit. Okay. So dip is something when it's a temporary decrease. Everybody knows it's temporary. So it's a temporary decrease and it's a very good buying opportunity. And dynamic buying is what I do in every day. And you must wait for the dip. You must not get into FOMO and buy whenever you want. You must wait for the dip. Mooning is particularly very common in the meme coin industry. So to the moon is what it is common. So everybody would tell this coin will go to the moon. So that is just the hype they're creating, and they have trust in that particular coin because they have bought in it. So it's just mooning. So coin is mooning. That is what they'll use. Or they'll tell to the moon. So that means they're expecting this particular coin to the moon. Doesn't necessarily happen. Every coin these days they would consider to the moon. So it is just it is just a particular terminologies that they use for expressing themselves to relating to that particular coin. So the last is buy the dip. I already informed you. So sometimes the influencers or the traders will use these terms as buy TD. So you shouldn't be foreign to this buy BTD. So it's buy the dip. So whenever there is a rebound, you'll be in profit. So you have to buy it. Ethereum actually dropped 15% last week and a lot of people buy it, including Donald Trump. So it was all over the news. So when somebody buys the dip, it's a great advantage. So that's the terms and technologies that you should necessarily know, and you'll be knowing the short forms, and you can even create a social media post or understand each other's social